to you live from Tennessee, from the east to the west. We are talking Cowboys every day. And you've just entered
the Cowboy Zone.
Welcome back to another episode of the Cowboy Zone. I'm Marcus Jones, the Bluff City Cowboy, coming to you live from Memphis, Tennessee.
And this is Lambo from Cowboys Y'all out of Johnson City, Tennessee.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Cowboy Zone. I see people are coming in pretty quick. So everybody, as you come in, make sure to get in the comments. Let us know that you're there. And also make sure you like, show us some support. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. And also make sure you share. Share it to your personal page. Share it to your favorite page. Let's get the word out there. Let's get the Cowboys on viral. How you doing tonight, Lambo?
I'm doing good. Just got back in town, got home. Another big basketball game.
So what was the score?
We won 22-8.
How many of those 22 did your son have?
14.
Really? I was gonna guess about 10.
Yeah, he had 14 out of the 22 points, and it was just a complete domination. Actually, the only time that team scored their 2 points when he was out of the game. I pulled him out of the game for a couple minutes. Yeah. Just let the other kid on the bench, that was on the bench, try to get in the game a little and stuff. And that was when the 2 points were scored against us. Put him back in and nothing. But yeah, man, he killed it.
Okay.
It's every week. I really need to I got to get him in travel ball. I need to get him playing out in like Atlanta and Charlotte and stuff. Like I got to get him a little bit further out.
And how old is he?
7.
Okay.
He's balling, man.
To be 7 and score that many points in general is a feat in itself. But to do it in a real game, that's ridiculous.
Most of the teams, the highest score, like most of these games in this league is like 10-6 or like 11-8 or teams are scoring like 10, 11, 12 points. Like he's getting that himself, like on a weekly basis. It seems like so it's awesome. It's going really good. And I've been pushing him towards football like crazy since he was 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I got to start taking basketball more serious, man. I really do. Cause
definitely.
I've been, I got to get in some camps and all that good stuff. So.
Guaranteed contracts, less wear and tear on your body. Definitely.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, you see how much guys on the bench are making in the NBA. That's crazy.
Yeah, guys on the bench make what?
Quarterback money.
Yeah, really.
Just about.
What's up, man? Thank you for joining as always. Appreciate your support. I see we got quite a few people watching right now. So if you're watching, make sure you get in the comments to let us know you're there.
And
like to shout out all our viewers.
Share. That's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna go through my share list.
Dominique, thank you for joining. Haven't seen you in a while, so appreciate you sticking your head in for a few minutes.
Yeah, as a kid, I played basketball probably more than I did football. I was up at the basketball court every single day. As soon as I get off the bus, everybody just head right to the basketball court. That was like a daily thing to do.
Yeah, definitely.
I think what helped him so much is from the age like 2 or 3, I started having him dribble the basketball, and I had him use his left hand a lot so that he would be really good with both hands. So that really just gave him an advantage in this league, being able to drive to both sides. A lot of kids, still can't dribble at that age. So,
yeah. Keith M, thank you for joining us all the way in SoCal. James Gary, appreciate you coming back again to join us. Mark Cantor, as always, appreciate your support.
What's up?
I know you guys are going to bring some great questions and comments tonight. So, Shane Odom, I knew you were coming soon, so appreciate you popping in.
Hello.
And thank you guys for sharing as well, the guys who shared before we even went live. We really appreciate that. You guys don't know how much we appreciate that support. So, Lambo, last week before we left, we got that great surprise. George T came and joined us for about an hour.
Yeah.
And we didn't get to finish up our 53-man roster projection. So I guess we'll start this show off with that. And then if we have some more time, Lambo and I kind of made our own list. Thinking about training camp, we got about 5 weeks to training camp. So we put together our list of the top 5 position battles going into camp. So if we have time, both Lambo and myself made our list, and we'll go through those lists individually and kind of talk about why we put them in that order and what was our criteria for position battles, and just kind of talk about some of the position battles that'll be going on, or some of the players who will be involved in those position battles. So, guys, before we get started, once again, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. I see we got quite a few YouTube people watching, and also make sure you share this as well, or share it to your favorite Facebook group. Let people see what we got going on. There's going to be some great Cowboys discussion tonight, and we want the fan base to know. All right, Lambo. So we'll get back into a 53-man roster, and we'll start with, I believe we'll do a quick recap of offense. I don't think we have many differences.
Just
and
sprinkle,
then we'll
man.
go into defense again. So just taking a look back at what we had before. If I can find it. So Lambo, you started off. Of course.
Sorry, I just think I just heard my wife stub her toe on the kid gate, and I couldn't help but to laugh.
So yeah, you started off 2 quarterbacks. I think we both agree with that. Both quarterbacks. 3 running backs. We both agree with those 3 running backs. At tight end, we had a bit of a difference. I see you have Sean McKeon as your number 3, and I have Jeremy Sprinkle, the tight end that we got from Washington. And then we look at the wide receivers. We're pretty much the same on both of our projections.
Yeah.
So now we'll go to defense. Just a quick recap of kind of what we talked about last week. So Lambo, we'll start off with you. Talk about your 53-man on defense. And just kind of let us know what you were thinking.
One of the things I know we did the viewer's choice kind of on if we was going to do 5 defensive tackles versus 10 offensive linemen. We decided to do with the 5 defensive tackles. So that really made the defensive tackle position easy for me. That kind of it would have been rough for me to try to think of the 4. Probably would have been Bohanna out. But so that really helped there. Obviously, Odigizua, like we said, undersized, a little bit undersized weight wise, but I think he's a former wrestler, right? Something like that.
He was a wrestler. He was a state champion wrestler. And
amazing with his hands. He plays bigger than his size. He's not going. He's not going anywhere. He's picked too early. Tristan Hill probably showed enough last year in those flashes to hold him around one more go. Neville Gallimore not going anywhere. Brent Urban. I mean, we struggled terribly in the run, stopping the run last year. It wouldn't make much sense to see him go. We just picked him up, and he was like the 2nd or 3rd best graded D lineman against the run last season. So,
yep. Quentin
Bohanna, heck, we're rolling 5 defensive tackles, so why not?
That's all you can say. Yeah,
it was a 1 tech. Let's see if a 1 tech actually sticks around in Dan Quinn's system.
A big 1 tech at that.
Yeah. Defensive end, that's where it gets a little dicey, a little bit. DeMarcus Lawrence obviously not going nowhere. Randy Gregory, we need to give him a contract ASAP. He's probably gonna have a huge year. The one here that might be different than yours, maybe I didn't get to see yours, but I don't have Armstrong on here, which I might be wrong about that. But
we really don't know either way, honestly.
Yeah, it's tough. Like you said, he's played a lot of snaps last season. I don't think Chauncey Golston's going anywhere. Obviously, we spent a decently high pick on him. Bradley and I don't think they're going to cut ties just yet without seeing what he's got in the tank. But I think that last spot's going to come down between Basham and Armstrong.
Okay.
Similar
players.
Yeah, very similar. It's a new coaching staff, so my gut just told me that maybe they're going to go with the fresh guy.
Mhm.
But I mean, I feel like it could really go either way there.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see. Linebacker, that's going to be one of the funnest position battles to watch. Absolutely. And it's really going to come down to most of these guys, those first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, I think everybody knows is going to be there.
Yeah.
It's really going to come down to, is it going to be Francis Bernard or Luke Gifford? And I just liked what Francis Bernard can do in the passing game.
Yeah.
And
if given the opportunity, yeah, definitely.
yeah, and I feel like I trust him a little bit more health-wise right now. So
And he played a lot of special teams last year too.
yeah, that Gifford's going to be that guy that probably goes to another team and makes a few plays, and we're going to be like, why does that always happen?
Yep.
But that's what I'm thinking.
I would love to see Gifford in a real 3-4 playing middle linebacker. I think we'll see some special plays from him. I think because he has it. He's smart. He's athletic. He's a playmaker. He's a linebacker version of Jeff Heath.
Yeah.
He'll give you a couple of good plays here and there, and then he'll probably give you some bad plays, some below average plays. But I think Gifford has it, and I don't think we'll be able to find out here in Dallas. Like you said, he's been kind of behind the 8 ball quite a bit. All right, so let me go to my front 7 guys to kind of show where we differ. And just like you said, defensive tackle, pretty much everything you said I agree with. Odigizua plays bigger than he is. I think he's probably going to get that 3-tech spot. I really feel like they're going to play Gallimore at the nose this year. I just have a feeling about it. Tristan Hill, this one could be interesting. I talk about this quite a bit. I talk about those. I see Charlie Moffitt coming in.
That's what I was giggling about a second ago. What up,
Dallas Cowboys Uncensored.
What up, motherfucker?
I always appreciate you coming in and joining.
I got something for Charlie to show him too in a few. I'd like Professor O to be on at the same time, but
yeah. Well, you know what? Before training camp, I do want to get a show where we have Professor O and the DCU guys on the show as well, because I've been on their show before.
Yeah.
I've had Professor O on here without you here. So it'd be good if we can get all of them here with you here as well.
Yeah.
So that's definitely actually I already have the show kind of lined up. I want to do kind of a I guess like a 5 questions type show or 10 questions type show. I come up with 10 questions, everybody kind of gives their opinion, and then we kind of talk about why. So that one's definitely coming. Charlie, Eric, I already see you're in. So definitely. We'll probably get that one together in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I would say.
Here's what I was going to show Charlie. I don't know if you can tell through the camera, but even with my outfits, I got the seafoam green on the pants. Seafoam green, baby. That's how we do it. I know he hates it.
We're not.
I had to throw on the seafoam green shorts.
Yeah. And Dominique, once again, we almost always in agreement over most things, and he said the same thing about Gallimore and knows. I just have a feeling about it. All right, let me get back to the 53 so I can kind of get in the defensive ends. And guys, once again, if you haven't done so already, make sure you like this. Make sure you share it. Share it to your favorite Facebook group. Share it to your personal group. If you haven't done so already, also subscribe to our YouTube channels. I am Bluff City Cowboy, and Lambeau is Cowboys, y'all. So let me get back to the 53 again. So, Brent Urban, Lambeau said, to me, he's the only defensive tackle we have who knows how to 2-gap. I think Odigizua can as well, but Urban is the only one I know can come in day 1 and 2-gap. People assume Bohanna can 2-gap just because he's 350, but size doesn't make you a 2-gapper. Size makes you clog up a hole, but it doesn't really make you a 2-gap player. So I feel like Brent Urban, because of that, he's going to pretty much have a spot secured, just like you said. And then Quinn Bohanna, like Lambeau said, we got 5 defensive tackles. he's probably the one who would get the nod. If we get the top 5 position battles at the end of the night, I'll bring up a couple more names that I think should get some very legitimate consideration for that 5th spot. But until we get to that point, Quinn Bohanna's the guy slotted for that number 5 defensive tackle. And Jeff, thank you for joining. Appreciate you coming in as well. And definitely, Charlie, we'll get that together. I got to check on Professor O. He's spending quality time with the new baby in the family. So I don't know how his time is right now, but hopefully we can get him in here. If not, we'll definitely do it with us 4. So now we go to defensive ends, and this is where me and Lambo differ, and I'll probably differ from everybody. D-Law spot is secure. Randy Gregory secure. Chauncey Golston, just because of where he was slotted, I think he's secure. And Dorrance Armstrong, just like Lambo pointed out, he played 60% of the special teams. No, Charlie, you're not getting bumped. We're going to add you in with Professor O as well. But yeah, Dorrance Armstrong played 60% of the special teams, which was top 5 on the team. And he also contributed 40% of the defensive snaps. So just because of the pure volume of snaps, unless he just comes in and looks awful, I just think it's hard to see him not have a spot. It's not impossible because you never know what the new coaching staff likes. And also on top of that, like I said before, him and Basham are about the same type of guy to me. So they could go one or the other, or they could go both. Because like I said before about Anai, all these defensive ends that I have listed, they're all 6'4" guys. They're all 33, 34-inch arms guys. They're all tall and athletic. Then you look at Anai, who's 6'2", 31-inch arms, didn't test well at the combine, but everybody saw him in college and fell in love with the pass rush moves. We got to see if the coaching staff stays true to their prototype, or do they go with talent? But he has to show that talent. So it's really up to him. If he wants, in my opinion, right now he's not on the team. He has to put himself back on the team by outplaying Basham or Armstrong. And that is not impossible to think that he won't outplay them.
No. It's going to be one of the good battles.
Yeah. So Lambo, me and you go back and forth a little bit about Armstrong and Anai. How secure do you think Basham is on this team? Like, do you think he's definitely above both of them, or do you think he's kind of in the mix with them?
I think they're all 3 in the mix.
Okay.
I think they're all 3 pretty evenly in the mix. Well, I guess if I was a betting man, I would say Armstrong does have a higher chance than Anai in Basham. But I don't know. I just kind of went with the gut thing there. But
I mean, it's not inaccurate. It could definitely happen.
Yeah. I mean, Basham could be the dude. Armstrong and Anai could be.
You're right.
Back around.
Yeah.
But I'm just leaning towards Armstrong. I don't know.
Jeff says he thinks Armstrong has a job to lose. We'll find out when training camp starts.
Yeah, that's gonna be one of the fun battles to watch.
It is.
That one I'm gonna enjoy. I'm gonna enjoy that last linebacker spot. The tight end, actually the entire tight end 1, 2, and 3 is gonna be
giving away your top 5 position battle. Save it for the end. We're almost there. Give it about 10 more minutes, and we'll let you go first. All right, so guys. And Charlie Moffitt, definitely the most important point. Contract-wise, none of them are safe. I believe Dorrance Armstrong's in the last year of his rookie deal. Bradley and I was a 6th-round pick, so his contract is not guaranteed. And I believe Basham only had like $100,000 guaranteed in his contract. So there's no guarantee for any one of those 3 guys to make this team. And Jeff says Basham is a close 1A if he excels on special teams. that was kind of his specialty with the Jets. Then I look at Armstrong, again, 60% of the special team snaps for a defensive end. That is quite a bit. Let me go back to the chart I made a couple weeks ago. Was it this one? I got so many charts saved. Yeah, right here. So I go back to this chart and I look at the top 5 special team snaps. He was number 2 behind CJ Goodwin. That, to me, and I talk about this all the time, as a fan base, we always say, well, this is a McCarthy guy or this is a Dan Quinn guy. Bones Fossil has his guys as well.
Yeah.
He doesn't have his pick of 20 guys like the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator has, but he's going to have his 5, 6, 7 guys that if he stands up and says, I want this guy on the team, they're not going to fight him on him. And just looking at the snaps, this just adds on to why I think Armstrong will be one of those guys that sticks around. But then I say that, and I think Darian Thompson's gone. So I could be wrong on both accounts because Darian Thompson was number 3.
Yeah.
He played just as many special team snaps and more defensive snaps. So I say all this about Dorrance Armstrong, and I could easily be wrong. And that's the beauty of training camp. All this stuff gets figured out in the next 7 or 8 weeks. Shane Odom says if Keanu Neal can't beat out Jabril Cox, just can't see the Cowboys keeping him around because of his contract. Shane, I personally think Neal's going to play more safety than linebacker. Personally, just like Charlie said, he's not going anywhere. He's a Quinn guy, depth at linebacker, safety, free safety. I'm right there with you, Charlie.
Yeah, a lot of position flex to.
Yeah. I think they'll give him a shot at linebacker, but if our goal is to put the best 11 on the field, if he's our best strong safety, I have no problem putting him in strong safety and Donovan Wilson be our swing safety. I have no problem with that. I know as fans, we love Donovan Wilson and the Hardy Show and the big hits, but think about this.
No, Neal's getting big hits too.
Exactly. I was just about to say that, Lambo. You read my mind. Neal's going to give you big hits too. And on top of that, think about how much we would have strengthened our secondary if we have a better version of Wilson as a starter and then Wilson as the backup. That completely changes the look of our safeties. And then you can find a way to put both of them on the field at the same time. Now you got 2 headhunters back there. And KZ is just a bonus.
Yeah.
But yeah, even when they sign him, they say he's playing linebacker. Okay, they may give him a shot at linebacker. But like I said before, I feel like some of these signings were plan B signings. Like the Carlos Watkins and the J-Ron Curse. If there wasn't a safety we liked in the draft, I think this guy's good enough to come in and be a replacement. I think Neal was kind of we don't know what we have in LVE, so we'll bring him in at will linebacker. If we don't hit in the draft, we can go from there. But I think we hit in the draft with Parsons and Cox. And that's why I feel like we didn't take a safety in the draft, because we have a safety in Neal who's a former Pro Bowler who's only 26, 27 years old. So once we got the 2 linebackers because we didn't know how the draft would go, now we don't have to take a safety because we got Neal. But I could be wrong about that, and we'll see when the season starts.
Yeah.
Let me see what Charlie says. My take on Armstrong on special teams, something we need to take into account. Definitely forget about that.
I wasn't.
The deep packages on D.
Yeah. I wasn't even thinking about that, the special team snaps for Armstrong when I actually made my decision.
I would love to see a run defense package with Neal and Wilson at safety. And Parsons and whoever at linebacker, LVE, Jalen, Cox, whatever. That would be crazy on the goal line. And Jeremiah, thank you for joining us. Great question. Do I think Neal's injury would affect his speed / change of direction at all at safety? I mean, I would say yes, because it's a skill position and your legs pretty much dictate how well you play. But I don't think it'll be enough to where he can't play safety anymore. What about you, Lambo? You think he has to play linebacker because of his injuries?
No, I don't think it'll affect him that bad. I mean, I don't think he's necessarily going to be exactly the same guy he was, but
Right.
I don't think it's going to be enough of a difference for you to really notice on film much. I think he'll be all right. I'd probably keep him in the box more, but
yeah. Even injured Neal is still better than Xavier Woods. So we're improving either way.
Yeah. Man, he's looking huge out there too.
He does.
He looks like a linebacker now.
Yep. He definitely does, but I still think he could play some strong safety, especially if we stick to the cover 3 principles. Because if we stick to cover 3, the strong linebacker plays almost exactly like the wheel linebacker. And that's why I had this discussion weeks ago about possibly trying Cox at safety, because the wheel and the strong side linebacker or strong safety, I mean, they play very similar. They play curl flat, they play backside contain, and if there's a tight end on their side, they're gonna get a little press and release on the line. Both same things, same responsibilities.
What's good, Richard?
Yeah, I'm right about the Woods part, definitely. Hey, Richard, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I definitely think we'll see Neal at safety. And we talk about veteran leadership at positions. We don't really have any veteran leadership at safety right now. So it would be good to throw him in that safety room, because he's one of those alpha type guys too. So he can definitely come in there and teach the young guys and kind of keep that room straight, just to kind of pop his head in.
I don't think I've been this excited to see our defense play since probably the year we got Ware the draft in the first round, and I think followed it right up with Spears. Was that the same draft? Didn't we get Ware and
they were the same draft. Spears was first, actually.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I thought a lot of people thought it might have been Merriman.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, I haven't been this excited since that draft, or coming out of that draft, at least into the season, with the optimism about the defense.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see these guys out there, man. And I wish we could hit fast forward button and just hurry up and get there. I'm trying to see a preseason game, man. I want to see Parsons out there hitting somebody. I want to. Can't wait.
I'm with you. And for this year, I'm excited because outside of D-Law and Diggs, I have no clue who's playing where. And all the guys are talented. It's not like 2018 at wide receiver, where we just had a bunch of guys and we didn't know who would play where. This year, we got a lot of talent, and we have a lot of guys with natural versatility and not this manufactured versatility when they try to throw a corner at safety, or they put Tyrone Crawford at defensive end and he's a 3-tech. We have guys who can really play multiple spots and play them well. So I have no clue where we're going to play these guys at, and I'm just looking forward to seeing the packages. Richard, tonight we are talking 53-man roster. So we're finishing up 53-man roster projections, and then we're going to talk about what we think are our top 5 position battles. Well, Dominique, thank you for correcting me on that. I don't know why I thought Spears was 11 and Ware was like 17. I may have them reversed. And Mendoza says his pick for MVP is Gregory. Neal will be the runner-up. He's definitely going to be integral.
Ooh.
Especially if we run that cover 3 that we think they're going to run, the 4-3 under. The Leo position that Gregory's probably going to be playing in, that should be a double-digit sack position for him. Because he showed us a lot of flashes last year when they just lined him up outside the tackle and told him to go. I think he's going to get to do that every game this year without any limitations and without them having a guy like Everson Griffin who shouldn't have been taking snaps from him to begin with. So I could see him getting double-digit sacks this year. And it's a contract year. So that always motivates a guy. And then DJ Dog, thank you for joining us. He says, with Gregory playing some Sam, could you see him outside of Tank on some downs? That could be a wrinkle they throw in, but I just think they're going to play Gregory mostly at that Leo spot. I just don't see him playing a lot of Sam linebacker. I think that's going to be reserved for Jalen and Micah. And DJ Dog says, yeah, we got Ware, Spears, Canty, and Ratliff in the draft. That was a very good defensive line draft. I believe Canty was a 6th rounder, Ratliff was a 7th rounder or undrafted.
Yeah, that was a great draft.
It was. And Jeff says he wants D-Law pushed this year, time to live up to the contract. I definitely want that too. I really think his production will be dependent on defensive tackle play because he has a lot of run defense responsibilities. And he only plays 60% of the snaps, which is what pisses me off most about him. You got the guy that's making the most money on your team on defense and supposed to be your best player. And I don't even think he was top five in defensive snaps last year. And then you got Jalen, who we're all trying to run out of town. He played like 97% of all the snaps. So, yeah, I definitely hope that we see more D-Law on the field to get more chances. Yeah, Charlie, thank you for following up on that. Bill Parcells wanted Spears at 11 in the room when against him. And Dominique, tired of hyping Randy. It's time to get our return on the investment. I think we've gotten our return on the investment. He's been a pretty cheap player for how many years he's been in the league? 6, 7 years. I mean, it's not the investment we want, but he's gotten a couple of double-digit sack years. Under the circumstances, I think he's done okay. But I would definitely like to see more, not just for him, but the guy that's playing opposite D-Law, because that guy should eat every year. And Robert Quinn showed that. Richard Woodard says, I think the guy who switched to safety will be the biggest surprise this year. I would need you to clarify which guy you mean. Because I don't think I know who you're talking about, the guy who got switched to safety.
Man, I ain't been this excited for a defense since we took Bobby Carpenter in the first round.
Barbie Carpenter.
I'm totally kidding, by the way. I was pissed. I think everybody was pissed off at that pick.
Definitely was pissed off at that pick.
Oh, man.
That's when I knew that was the beginning of the end for Parcells.
I don't think Kelvin Joseph or Nashawn Wright are planning on going this. Oh, maybe he's talking about Mukwamo.
Maybe so. That would be a good drop if he makes the team. And we'll get to that in a second because we're about to go secondary. So let me go through these questions. And he says the rookie, so you're probably right, Lambo. I think he does mean Mukwamo. And Jeremiah asked a follow-up question. Do you think Gregory helps free up D-Law on double teams to allow him to get back to double-digit sacks? Again, I just said it. I think the defensive tackles are the ones that will free up D-Law more than Gregory. Because just the way that position is played, Gregory's always going to be one-on-one with the tackle. So that doesn't affect D-Law. What does affect D-Law is when your nose tackle and your 3-tech can be blocked one-on-one by the guard and the center. When you can block one-on-one with your defensive tackles, that leaves your guard, tackle, and tight end open to block on D-Law. And that happened quite a bit that people don't talk about because D-Law was getting double and triple team quite often. So if you get a defensive tackle who can legitimately take on a double team or generate some penetration, that will open D-Law up more this year. Yeah, Dominic, I know your thoughts on the snap counts. I'm right there with you. DJ Dog, great stat. Tank was ranked 4th. Urban was ranked 3rd. And we got them both on this team, so hopefully that improves the run defense. And that's a good point too, Charlie. We weren't paying him when he was suspended. But that contract kept tolling over, and we kept getting them for cheap deals, $500,000-$600,000 here and there. Jeff says Jordan Lewis will be the biggest surprise. Actually, we're gonna do a show coming up where I'm gonna post 10 questions to the viewers, and we're gonna have you guys put them in the comments and call in. And that's one of my questions. So forget the answers that you see right now, because we're gonna do that show in about 3 weeks as well. And Charlie Moffitt says he wasn't doubled as much as people think. The combination of him not playing more than 65% of the snaps and double teams, I think both of those had an effect on his production. But you're right, he wasn't doubled as much as people think. But when you're playing only 60% of the snaps, when you get double team, it stands out quite a bit. Shane Odom asked the question, do we like the idea of bringing in another team at training camp? Lambo, what do you think about this one? What do you think about us bringing in the Rams to practice against us in training camp? By the way, that's not a team we're playing in the preseason, right? They're just bringing this team in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so. And it's kind of funny you said that because I think it was Spoonie that just shared something earlier about last time we practiced with, I believe it was was it the Rams or maybe it was the Giants? Now, I'm forgetting. Now, maybe it wasn't the Rams. I don't know. It was when that fight broke out in the Passion.
I think it was the Rams last time because it had to be a team.
Yeah, it was
the coast.
I'm thinking it was the Rams. I think it was the Rams. So that's what stuck in my head. But I don't really have too much of an opinion on it. Really, I've never loved it or hated it. Curious your thoughts on it. Obviously they're not going to give away everything that they're doing. In a way, I guess it's nice because you get used to playing the guys you're in the locker room with, that you're friends with. Every little flaw they have.
Yeah,
it's nice probably to get to play someone fresh where you don't know every little detail about that player. Makes it more challenging. Makes it more of a kind of a surprise, a little harder to read. So it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, Richard and Mark both said it was the Rams. I thought it was the Rams.
Yeah.
Jeff pretty much said what I was about to say. This is my first reason why I like it. Training camp can be tough, and you don't want to see your guys beat up on your own guys. You want to see them hitting on somebody else.
Yeah,
so they can kind of let go a little bit more and not getting those little riffs with each other.
That's true.
The other reason I like it is because there's two reasons, and they're both kind of related to the same thing. You get to see them against other guys because now, if you like Tyler B, you don't get to see him go against Quinn Bohanna in practice. You get to see him go against Aaron Donald. Now we get to see how much he's really grown. You go to the cornerback position. Okay, you guys like Anthony Brown, you like Nashawn Wright. They're not going against CeeDee Lamb, Cedric Wilson, Noah Brown. They're going against Cooper Kupp, and I can't even think of the other receiver's name right now.
Robert Woods. They're going against other guys who've done it in the league. So now we can't say, oh, we had a good week of practice going against our guys. Because sometimes when you're playing against each other,
they would do what my coach would call brother-in-law, where you basically kind of go to the line, hey man, let's both take a break this time. Or hey, I think my coach is looking right now. Let me get you on this rep. That happens a lot more than you guys think. So stuff like that can kind of give you a skewed angle. And that kind of leads into my other thing where one thing I hate about training camp. Thank you, Mendoza. I was trying to think of that name too. Van Jefferson, another very talented guy who's going to have to step up here.
Great route runner in Florida. I'm curious to see Van Jefferson, how he progresses, because I thought he was going to be one of those sleeper receivers that really does pretty well in the league.
And Charlie, you got to tell me where the YouTube link goes to, and I'll check it out after the show. And DJ Dog says it'd be a good look for our rookies to see how they stack up. And that's the other point I was about to make. The other thing I really hate about training camp is if, for example, Michael Parsons has a good practice. He gets an interception. Now we got to look at
Danichi was the one throwing it.
Or Garrett or Gilbert or Dak.
Yeah.
So if Parsons has a good game, then we're going to say, oh, Dak must have been awful. Or if another example, Adigi Zua is just dominating in practice. So now we got to say, oh, has Tyler B regressed in the second year? Or has Connor Williams taken a step back? There's never going to be good and good. It's always if somebody does good,
somebody else is bad.
Somebody else is bad on the same team.
Yeah, you could come away with the Rams practice with us good on both sides of the ball.
Right, exactly.
Which would be great.
Yeah. So that's two of the things I really like about it. And I think the Rams are the perfect team because there's already a little bit of a rivalry there. That last game we played them, I think guys are kind of upset about that. So they'll be a little bit more motivated in practice. And I think they just match up well with us too on both sides of the ball. Like if CeeDee Lamb wants to really show he's stepping up in year 2, or Michael Gallup wants to prove he's a number 1 receiver, well, guess who the Rams have at cornerback? Jalen Ramsey. You want to prove you want to get paid? Go call that man out in practice. Don't call out Kelvin Joseph, a second-round pick who just got off the bus. You go take on the number 1 corner in the league and show us that you deserve to be paid. So, yeah, stuff like that, I love it. And Charlie Moffitt says, yeah, it does suck in that way. If the defense sucks, people freak out. The offense sucks, people freak out. Yeah, it's a no-win situation.
You know, I would expect I feel like we've added a few people to the secondary that have the dog mentality we want. So I expect there to be a little bit of a little camp fight.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way you could go in there against Jalen Ramsey and something not pop off because that guy cannot shut up.
Yeah.
But then again, we ain't really got I wish we had a Dez in his prime.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had a Dez in his prime. I love seeing him. I don't know, with a guy like Ramsey.
Yeah. Now that would definitely get us on Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
You had Dez and Ramsey on practice together.
That would definitely be. That'd be good right there. Pay-per-view.
Yeah. And Charlie makes a great point talking about in 2019, we were picking out balls left and right. People talking about Dak throwing them and praise the defense. And then 2019 happened. I'll give you last year. All we heard in training camp is our defensive ends were just killing the tackles. Like, we couldn't even conduct a practice because our ends were just all over the field. And then 2020 happened, and who was our leading sack guy? Alden Smith with 5.
That's terrible.
After all that praise they did in the offseason, we get that product. So yeah, all right, let's go back to our 53-man roster projections. We're at 45 minutes. So we'll go through We'll hit yours first, Lambo. In terms of cornerback and safety position, and I think we're pretty much the same here. So take us through your 7 corners. You went 7 corners instead of 6 corners, 4 safeties. Let us know why you went 7 corners, and then talk about the 7 corners.
The reason I decided to go 7 corners is honestly because I felt like there's a few of those corners that could possibly make the shift to safety if needed.
Now, who are those safeties? I mean, who are those corners?
Well, I'd be looking at a Reggie Robinson as a potential depth piece at safety. Honestly, actually, that'd probably be the only one right now that I'm looking at. So I guess I was kind of looking at Reggie Robinson. I was trying to find really what I was trying to do is find a way to keep him on the team because I've been doing that for the past couple weeks, saying I want Reggie Robinson on this team still. So that's my way of me keeping Reggie Robinson on this team is using his position flex that I think he has. I still don't really know how well he did at any time they was trying to play him at safety some. But I mean, you're looking at your 4th safety. I don't expect him to be brilliant anyways. Mukwamo, I do like Mukwamo. I don't know. I like him. I would be happy if he made the team, especially because guys like that are just so passionate about I don't know, like if you watch his phone interviews and things like that, he seems like a person with a huge heart. His head's in the game. Cowboys fan. Mukwamo would be awesome I hope he makes the team. But I just seen him as a practice squad, maybe being a practice squad guy. But we'll see. But Trayvon Diggs is a lock, obviously. Jordan Lewis just got a contract. He's a lock. CJ Goodwin, special teams ace. He's a lock. Kelvin Joseph, we picked in the 2nd round. So even if he starts out rough, he's going to be a lock. Nashawn Wright is actually, I mean, we've been hearing a lot of good stuff about him so far. We'll see if that continues. I know I hated the pick, but hey, make plays, and that changed how people feel about you real quick. I think he's going to make the team, obviously. We just spent a 3rd on him.
So do you think he's a lock as a 3rd round pick?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Anthony Brown, at this point in time, I haven't got that feeling that the team is really comfortable letting go of his veteran presence as of yet. I feel like they're still unsure who's going to be on the opposite side of Diggs in that. I mean, you got to keep him around for now till you figure that out. But and Reggie Robinson, just the fact that he hasn't really had much time to show us, it almost kind of feels like the Donovan Wilson thing all over again. In a way, I just know he's an extremely talented dude. I'd like to see him stick around on the team a little bit longer. I think he's got enough talent to stick around. And I think he does have the possible position flex to roll to safety. So that's where I'm at. But I would be very happy if Mukwamo did make the team. I will say that.
I agree. Just got to find a spot for him.
Yeah.
Hey Charlie, thank you for joining us, man. As always, appreciate it. Appreciate your support. Appreciate you sharing. And if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you go to the Dallas Cowboy Uncensored Facebook page. Make sure you like that page. And also make sure you listen to their podcast. They normally come on Fridays or Thursdays. Thursdays or Fridays at noon. Charlie just let me know. I believe it's usually Fridays at noon. I think you're taking a week or 2 off, then coming back because of the slow news time with training camp. And I'm definitely there with you. So make sure you keep following their page.
It's Dale, bro.
Yeah, it's Cowboy Dale.
But I like the name Cowboy Dave.
Yeah. Maybe they could be his twin. Maybe they could be his twin. That's a Texans fan. Okay, so it's Fridays. I thought it was Fridays. Normally it's at noon, but they kind of do different times here and there. So Mendoza asked, where do we stand with cutting AB? And that question comes right in time because now I will talk about my cornerbacks on the 53-man roster. So I went with 6 corners. And for myself, Trayvon Diggs, definite lock. Hands down, our number 1 corner. Kelvin Joseph, he's a lock. Again, we don't know where he fits in terms of his position. I think by the time camp is said and done, he'll be our number 2 guy just because of his tenacity. And somebody put a funny comment.
Yeah, sorry.
That would be funny.
A black twin. Oh,
You try to get us kicked off the air.
with the same accent and everything.
Right.
That'd be hilarious.
That would be hilarious.
Or you could do instead of the mullet, you could do like the Jerry curl style. Like I'd do the mullet, you got the Jerry curl. That'd be funny, man.
Oh man. Something keep track of in the future. But yeah, Kelvin Joseph, I think by the time camp's said and done, he's going to be our number 2 corner. He's got the tenacity. He played a cover 3 in college. And when he was on, he was on. He looked like the best corner in college. His problem was he didn't have a lot of experience. So if he can get through that learning curve, we could have something special with Joseph as a number 2 corner in this cover 3 scheme we think they're going to run. Number 3, Jordan Lewis, just signed a contract, definitely locked for the team. I think this cover 3 fits him well because he's a great tackler. So even if you play him inside in the slot, I think that fits his skill set more because he can blitz very well. He's a great tackler in open field. And I think he does well when he can kind of see things coming at him. So at number 2 or number 3 corner, I think Jordan Lewis is going to have a very productive season. And then CJ Goodwin, arguably top 5 special teams player in the league. He plays more snaps than anybody on his team, special teams. He's not going anywhere. They would probably cut one of these other corners before they cut Goodwin. And then we go to number 4, Nashawn Wright. I think he's a lock as well. It'll be interesting to see how he does in camp and how many snaps he gets. But even if he looks bad, I think he's a lock for this team. And then we go to Mark Cantor's comment real quick. A crazy fact. Last month, Reggie Robinson was listed as a safety on the Cowboys roster. As of today, he's listed as a cornerback. They're going to confuse this kid out of the league. That's a definite concern, Mark Cantor. Thank you for pointing that out. I just don't see why they made the move in the first place. The kid played corner all through high school and college. Why would you bring him in and put him at safety when you tell us that your goal is to get tall, athletic corners like Trayvon Diggs? And then Richard Woodard says Kennedy has a good shot at making the team. I agree Kennedy has a great shot at making his team. I've been going back and forth on this one for about 3 days now, looking at Kennedy and his skill set. I believe in 2019, he had a higher PFF grade than all of our corners had on our team. And then, of course, 2020, he sat out due to COVID. So he was an ascending player until he sat out last year. And he's a special teams ace as well, which will always get him favor on this team. Because when I look at Diggs, Joseph, and Lewis, I don't see any of them as special teams guys. So if you could squeeze another special teams guy out of your cornerback position, especially if you can have 2 fast gunners, that makes a big difference. And Mendoza says he has Kennedy and Mukwamu on his as well. And he talks about the Nice Wonder. And sorry, I misspelled the name. That's autocorrect. But yeah, Nice Wonder as well with the punter position. And then I have Reggie Robinson. I'm sorry, you saying something, Lambo?
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, Nice Wonder. I considered
Was it Anger?
Yeah, Anger, and I was like, you know what? I mean, you might have found you a little gem in Neswander. He averaged like 47 per punt. It was limited, but it would have put him in among the, I believe it was top 5 in the NFL an average. To be averaged out for a full season. And the funny thing is, I think I seen this on Blogging the Boys, is he has the highest career average in Cowboys history. Obviously, it's a very limited amount of punts, but
Yeah.
I don't know. He looked good, man. I hope let's roll with him.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, was Anger a punter under Bones Fossil at any point?
I
know he was like a third round pick as a punter, which was ridiculous.
Yeah, he was picked pretty early.
And he's made a couple of Pro Bowls. But I don't know if he was. Somebody get in the comments, let me know. I know if anybody knows, our fan base will know this. So we talk about Reggie Robinson, and I just feel like when I look at Quinn is one of the first defensive coordinators we had in a while who's really taking guys off traits that he likes. When he says he wants guys with 34-inch arms, he's getting all guys with 34-inch arms. When he says he wants aggressive corners, he's getting aggressive corners. And I feel like just from what I remember from Reggie Robinson at Tulsa last year, he plays the type of style that Quinn likes. He was a press, release, cover 3 corner all through college. He's 6'1", 200 pounds, 4.4 speed. I feel like he's going to get in camp, and if they're giving him the opportunity to play some corner, I think he's going to show people what he's made of. And I hate to make this comparison, but I look at Byron Jones. Corner in college, they put him at safety. It didn't really work out. You had a guy like Chris Richard come in, kind of under the Dan Quinn tree, saying, you know what? This is what I want in a corner. I'm going to put him back at corner, and look at what Byron Jones did.
Quinn wasn't here that long, or he hadn't been here like that really all that long.
Yeah.
Before he came out and told Reggie Robinson he appreciated his willingness to not, to just not have any complaints and to move back to corner.
Mm-hmm.
He came in pretty quick knowing he wanted to move him back to corner.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't take long at all for that to be expressed. So
yeah,
he obviously, sees him as a good fit there.
Yeah. It's a great point. I agree. I think if he's given a real shot, I can see him at worst being number 5 corner. I think he'll come in and play better than Wright, honestly. But I think he's going to show enough to at least be a number 5 corner. And if we go back to my list real quick, and Shane Odom, I'll get to your question in a minute. But we go back to my list and we look at the guy that's missing. And I've said this quite a few times on the show. We talk about the guy that's missing. It's Lambo's list, sorry. And I don't have Anthony Brown on my list.
Yeah.
I just personally feel like, and I keep saying this, okay, in OTAs, he was a number 2 corner. What do you expect when the team's purpose of OTAs is just to line up and run? He's the only veteran corner we have, so they have to put him out there. That's not saying if the season started today, he's our number. Well, that's not saying because he was number 2 corner in April or May, he's going to be the number 2 corner in September.
Yeah.
So I think people look into that way too much. Oh, he lined up at number 2 corner when practice started. I mean, Clinton Dix lined up at safety last year. Look where he ended up at.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So because of that, and again, I think Diggs and Joseph are going to be our number 1 and number 2 guys. I feel like Lewis is going to outplay Brown because I don't think Brown fits the scheme. I think Lewis fits the scheme better than Brown does. So I keep going back to it. Your highest paid corner cannot be your number 4 corner. That's just simple finances. The guy who's your highest paid corner or the highest salary cap corner can't be coming off the bench. You can find a better replacement than that. That's just basic dollars. And thank you, Mendoza, about Angle was never under Foster. Thank you for pointing that out for me. And I know Lambo went with 7 corners because he thinks Robinson is going to have some position flex. I think they're going to give him a legitimate shot at corner. So I kind of cut it off at 6. And then I went to my safety position. And I could actually go one short here because I really feel like, if anything, Neal would be the guy who would be your flex guy, linebacker / safety.
I just noticed something. I don't know if you caught it yet.
What?
We got the what'd they call him? The freak? I think Javon Curse. We got Javon Curse. He done came back in the league as a safety.
Yeah, it should be J-Ron Curse. My mistake, guys. And that is his nephew.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
That's what's up.
Yeah, but he's a freak too. 6'4", 220, 4.5 speed, playing nickelback and safety. But yeah, since mine is up here, I'll go through the safeties real quick. KZ, I don't know how secure he is, but as of right now, we'll pencil him in for a spot. Depends on how he comes back from the injury. Donovan Wilson, I think he's definitely locked in. At worst, he's going to be our swing safety, depending on what happens with Neal.
You know what? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I don't know why I kept thinking Robin. I knew I was forgetting somebody. I don't know how I was thinking that. The reason I went 3 was because of the fact that I felt like Neal could still play some safety as well.
Yeah.
Which I didn't mention for some reason, but that's it.
Yeah. Darian Thompson. I just made this big argument about Dorrance Armstrong and special team snaps and defensive snaps. And like I said before, Darian Thompson, he played almost as many special team snaps, played more defensive snaps. As of right now, I'll give him a spot, but I feel like that spot could be up in the air. And when guys talk about Mukwamu possibly getting a spot, I could see this maybe going to him, and we may talk about that. We go top 5 position battles. So Darian Thompson could be there. Tyler Cole, undrafted free agent. I like him a whole lot. Kid out of UConn. He played last year in, was it Colorado? I believe. Or I forget the school he played for. I just looked at UConn tape when he actually touched the field, and he has some good traits. So I'm looking forward to that. And J-Ron Curse, honestly, of these 4, I think he has a chance of being our best safety. And I know a lot of people want to agree with me on that. It could be my Clemson fanhood coming out, because I watched every snap he played at free safety at Clemson. But he looked great at Clemson. I watched every snap he played at Minnesota. And he won a whole lot more battles than he lost, playing free safety, strong safety, wheel linebacker, and nickel corner. He played all 4 positions. He actually was, and thank you, Richard, Purdue. I knew it was a black and gold team. That's what happens when you go away from draft season. All that draft knowledge starts to leave you. Now I can only remember colors and not teams. But yeah, J-Ron Curse, I think he has a shot. I saw, I believe, Kyle Yeomans make a comment saying that he didn't look well in practice. I think it's because they kind of had him slotted out of position. I think once they get him in camp and they play him more like Minnesota did, we'll see a much better player. And Jeff still thinks KZ might be out because of the injuries. Best ability is availability, definitely. And we got a lot of safety prospects out there. And if one of them shows something, you never know what'll happen.
That's true.
All right, number. Let me let you close it out with safeties. We're at 1:05. Honestly, I didn't plan on this going an hour, so because we got 5 weeks to training camp, we may save top 5 position battles for next week.
Yeah, we probably should.
Yeah.
But
All right, so
the long snapper, do you have anything on him? All I can really tell you is I know he's a 2-time Pro Bowler. I mean, that's good enough for me. That's about all I know about the guy, though.
Bones Fossil wants him.
Yeah, he wants him. He's made a couple Pro Bowls. So.
Exactly. I mean, long snapper, that's all I care about. As long as he can get the ball back there. He may have that position for the next 20 years after the guy we just had retired.
I know, right?
All right, now let's go to your safeties now. Talk about your 3 safeties.
Really just I mean, I like KZ. I really like Wilson, and you answered pretty much everything on Curse right there. The reason I'm pretty much just leaving Thompson out is he, like you said, you did show he contributes on special teams a lot.
Yeah,
that's something that I kind of overlooked. So I could be wrong there, but honestly, if it's me, I'm thinking a guy like Mukwama would make the team over Thompson this offseason. That's probably saying a lot, but I don't know. I feel like like I said, with Robinson having some work at safety, not that they would move him back, but really with Neal being able to play some safety and us being completely stacked at linebacker right now, or at least I feel like we're stacked. We'll see how that works out, but I feel like if we really need someone to come up and play safety, I feel like that it won't be an issue with Neal on this team. So that's why I felt comfortable leaving Thompson off the roster. But like I mentioned before, I don't have him on my 53, but I would love to see Mukwama make the team. I really would.
I would too.
I'm really hoping that he shows out. I like him.
So yeah, definitely. So now, let's go back to the fans real quick.
Yeah, he was practicing out there, and that's saying a lot because it's kind of surprising that he's out there functioning at what looks like 100% already. He seemed to come back pretty quick from that injury.
Yeah. So let me go back to some of these comments real quick. So Mendoza, you said you had Kennedy and Mukwamu. Who are the guys you took off? Because that's 2 guys that aren't on either one of our lists. So unless you kept 7 even if you did keep 7 corners, you had to take 2 guys off that we had. So I'm interested in who you would take off.
I'm gonna make a guess.
Richard Woodard, you said you think Kennedy has a good shot of making the team. Who do you think gets the boot to give him a spot?
My guess is that Mendoza is going to say, obviously, I think Robinson or Brown and Thompson. We'll see.
Okay.
That's my guess.
I'm interested in that. Now, I think it's Robinson. And I don't know who the second person is, so I'd be interested in that one. I hope it's not Goodwin. So yeah, guys, if you have any questions or comments about our 53-man roster, let us know so we can talk about it. We're at 1 hour 10 minutes. We'll probably close this thing out in a few minutes, and then we'll pick back up next week with our top 5 position battles. And Mendoza says he has no AB or Thompson. He has Robinson making it. And Richard says he has Robinson off the team. So yeah, it's going to be interesting at that corner safety position.
Yeah.
Now,
definitely.
Let me ask this question, guys, in the comments. Mendoza, Rudd it if you're there. Let's say, he says Robinson and Brown. Okay, you both have Brown off the team just like I do. Let's say Brown actually makes the team. Who comes off the team? And it doesn't have to be a corner. It could be anybody on the defense. If they like Brown so much that they're willing to go at the position, I think both Lambo and I think they go short at defensive tackle. They go with 4. See, Mendoza has 7 corners as well. So do you think they should go short at defensive tackle, defensive end? You think because the linebackers are so strong and flexible, they only go with 5?
Maybe he's going like me, 7 corners, 3 safeties
Yeah, maybe they go 3 safeties.
because of Neal.
Yeah, I'm just interested where you guys are thinking they may go short at if they keep an extra corner. I just personally can't see when you've got if Joseph does what I think he's gonna do, I think 1 and 2 are pretty much secure. And then you got a guy like a Jordan Lewis coming off the bench who can fill in.
Yeah.
And I think Robinson's gonna be pretty good. I think you can do without Brown and save their money. And Richard Woodard says you go short at linebacker. It's a possibility. I mean, Francis Bernard only played special teams last year, so
Yeah.
want to put him back on the practice squad. He'll probably go back there. You'll still have him available.
I'm still kind of like, I've been with you on the Brown thing the entire time up until we did the 53.
Uh-huh.
I think I kind of got baited into all the talk about his veteran presence and this and that and stuff. I do agree. I will say I do agree. Still agree that there's a good chance that he could be one of those guys we could see off the team.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't know.
Yeah,
and you don't really think about it until you do exercises like this, because I talked about this all last year. It's easy to say, oh, we'll just keep 7 wide receivers.
Yeah, it's like looking at the Madden roster. When I'm playing the game,
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep the top 6. And then you're like, hold on. Well, is Brown going to be getting all that money to be the 4th cornerback?
Right.
I don't know about that.
Or am I going to keep Brown, who we're more than likely not going to have next year, to give up a chance to lose Rondale Carter or Bradley and I? Am I really going to keep Brown here to be my 5th corner and lose out on the chance of giving Bradley a 9 spot?
Yeah.
That's the things we have to think about that I don't think people think about a lot when they do these exercises. And Mendoza says he only has 4 defensive tackles.
Yeah, there's a domino effect.
Always.
And like you say, you don't really realize the end result of that effect unless you like think out the entire scenario.
Exactly. You just don't know. Because every time, if we think a team's going to go 6 somewhere, if you add a 7th, somebody's going to be short somewhere. Okay. I could see that. I mean, all of these are options. I'm not saying anybody's wrong. I could just make a good argument for why I think Robinson will be here. I mean, I could easily see what Richard has as well being the lineup, because I talk about Basham and Chauncey Golston and Dorrance Armstrong all being kind of the same guy. If you really go look at Kennedy, him and Robinson are kind of the same guy.
Yeah.
So it could be either or right there.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Robinson had the highest was like the highest athletic score
for corners in the draft
for corners in the entire draft last year. That's just athleticism with the kind of size he has to give up already. That'd be tough. I think I'd be pretty upset about that one.
I think I would be too, especially a guy that was a former 4th round pick.
Yeah.
And we didn't even get a chance to see him practice.
Yeah, let me see him play at least, man.
Right. People forget that. We didn't have real training camp last year.
So we didn't.
Never even got a chance to practice.
Yeah.
A 4th round pick.
All the talent in the world.
Right.
He didn't get an off season or anything. He didn't get a preseason, didn't get off season, none of that stuff. And this is basically like his rookie year.
Exactly.
I mean, people raved about Reggie Robinson. Like when he got picked, man, everybody was extremely high on him and his athletic ability.
Mm-hmm.
I really need to see. I really need to see him out there and see what he can do. But he's got definitely his. I mean, if you're looking at ceiling, his ceiling is going to be much higher.
Yeah. And you're right about. I know you're talking about Kennedy when you say this, Richard. Kennedy does have more experience in the league, so that could give him a leg up. And Mendoza say he doesn't have Armstrong making it again. Him, Anai, and Basham, you just don't know.
It's like a dice roll.
It really is. I'm just thinking Anai might be the odd man out. Like, if I look at it from this standpoint, which guy could we cut and clear waivers to the practice squad? I don't see any way that a defensive end who can give you 65% of special team snaps is not going to get picked up by somebody.
That's a good point. I didn't really think about that either.
Because somebody else is going to value their special teams play. And he's on, and this is the crazy thing, he's only 24 years old. As long as he's been in the league, he's only a year older than Bradley Anai. And he has 5 years NFL experience. And they make about the same amount of money. But I look at Basham. Basham may clear waivers. I mean, he didn't show a lot with the Jets. I don't think people are knocking on his door to give him a contract when the Jets let him go. You may have a chance to cut him, and he may make it. Bradley and I, young guy, well, rookie, but he's 23. He didn't play more than 10 snaps the whole season. He didn't play any special teams. That really hurts a young guy because if you're a guy like that, you either have to contribute on the field or contribute on special teams. And he didn't do either last year. So it may be kind of hard for a team to give up a roster spot for a guy because I may have liked him coming out of college. But again, you never know. Mendoza asked the question, can Kennedy play outside? I would think with this athleticism, he should be able to. Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's like 6'1", 200 pounds, about like Reggie Robinson. So you would think he could play outside. All right, guys. And Shane Odom, if you're still here, he says he thinks it's going to be a make or break training camp for Luke Gifford. Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to have to show a lot to make this roster, honestly.
Yeah, he's not. He's got an uphill battle.
He definitely does. And I haven't even talked about Rondale Carter yet, Richard. Thank you. He could definitely clear waivers. Did he clear waivers last year? I know he went to the Colts, but did they sign him or did he clear waivers and they put him on a practice squad?
I can't remember.
I can't remember either. But again, that's another guy who didn't play a lot of football. So
yeah,
he definitely could clear waivers. That's why I don't think Lambo or I include him in our discussions, because whether he stays or goes, I think we both agree if we cut him, he would clear waivers and make the practice squad.
Yeah.
And Mendoza says CB2 play special teams. Yeah, Richard, we talked about that. Kennedy and Reggie Robinson, height, weight, speed, athleticism, almost identical guys. So it could be one of those situations where this is the new trend we're going towards and both of them are secure, or both guys cancel each other out and you only keep one. We got a lot of questions like that going into training camp. And we talk about top 5 position battles. We're not going to do that this week, but I was going to talk about Odighi Zuwa and Carlos Watkins.
Yeah,
because they compare a lot athletically, but we'll save that for next week.
It's a shame we didn't get to see Kennedy play last year.
I know. I wish I knew his reason for not playing last year. I don't know if he had a sick family member or just safety concerns in general. But he had to be pretty confident he found a way back on the team to sit out on a 1-year contract after not starting in the league. And thank you, Richard. Yeah, they put him on their practice squad. So that's a guy who can clear waivers, and me and Lambo haven't really talked about him. It's a couple guys who can make some noise in camp, but as of right now, I don't think they'll make it. So I think you may have said it already, Lambo, just kind of in talking, but gut feeling right now, if you had to choose a guy that's not on your 53 that you think will get on the 53, who is that guy?
It would be. Oh man. Well, the smart choice would be Armstrong, being I didn't have him on my 53, but part of me wants to say Mukwamo.
That's mine too.
So yeah, Mukwamo.
Yeah. And I look at him, we talk about comparisons. We take a guy like J-Ron Curse in free agency. Mukwamo comes in almost exactly like him. Mukwamo played some safety in college, so it's not a completely unfamiliar position for him. And we could be going to the big, rangy safeties. I don't want to get into this discussion at the end of the show, but I think he'd be far more likely to play safety than Kelvin Joseph.
Yeah, I do too.
I've seen that discussion kind of being thrown around a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not ready for that.
No. If you draft the guy that early, you put him at the position that he excelled at in college. I don't care how highly he was recruited in high school. I'm not throwing Micah Parsons at running back because he was a great runner. I mean, I'm not throwing him at defensive end because he was a great defensive end in high school.
Yeah, and we have a need for it.
He made his money at linebacker. That would be kind of my argument on that one. I would have a couple more arguments, but that's for another episode. And Mendoza's talking about Kennedy. If he's the special teams ace, we hear he is. He knows what it takes to make a roster. He was definitely there with the Jets and the Ravens. So yeah, Mendoza says Gifford. And guys, before we go, let us know what you think. If there's a guy who's not on your projected 53-man roster, which guy who's not on it right now do you think would have the best chance of getting a spot? Richard Woodard asked the question, is practice squad at 16 this year? I believe it's going to be at least 14. I don't know if they did 16 yet, but I know it's going to be at least 14. And then Mendoza asked the question about Deontay Burton. And he was a cornerback who played a little bit last year, I believe.
He was with the Falcons, wasn't he? Before was that before?
Yeah, he played with the Falcons
a little bit before, and then practice squad and came up off the practice squad.
Mm-hmm. That's a great question, Mendoza.
I mean, he'll battle.
He's another 6'1", 200-pound guy, so he fits that mold. He's been kind of lingering around the practice squad, like you said, Lambo. Do you think he has a chance at all of a spot?
Not really. I just feel like there's too much young potential on the roster. I'm already having trouble trying to narrow it down to 7. Or even 6 is even harder. I don't know. This is guys I like better.
But you know what's crazy though? He played more defense than Reggie Robinson last year. That's crazy to think about.
Like we said, Robinson didn't have an off season.
Yeah.
Didn't have any, preseason, none of that. And
I think Richard Wood made that point before. Experience does count.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said I'm looking at experience.
Which is I'm still mad about last year because I'm like, bro, we sucked. Like we were terrible. I mean, everybody knew we was. I mean, all the injuries and everything. Why were we not throwing Bernard and Anah and Robinson out there those last 3-4 weeks? I don't understand it. Like just let them on the fly. I don't know.
especially when you look at, like we talked about, they put Rashard Robinson on the field. They would rather bring Rashard Robinson and Deontay Burton up from practice squad than let Reggie Robinson get snaps. That something about that just doesn't sit right with me.
Savion Smith little too, didn't he?
Savion Smith was on practice squad too, and they brought him up.
Yeah.
And he's more corner than safety. He's more safety than corner as well. And they put him in at corner, and he got torched. So when you think about stuff like that, it kind of makes you question Reggie Robinson's chances. But
Yeah.
you just got to hope the new coaching staff gives him a legitimate opportunity at cornerback to show what he can do.
Yeah. A lot of it too, like you said, they pretty much was making him do a lot of safety work.
Yeah.
So he had no offseason, no preseason, and was focused on safety a lot.
Right.
And then it's like he probably just simply just wasn't ready.
Yeah. And we had George T talking about this last week. Safety is about more than just covering in deep middle. You got to know what you're doing. Stuff changes all the time. Again, he had no training camp, so he didn't really get a chance to go on the field and apply what he saw as a safety. And we saw guys get torched quite a bit last year. It could have been worse. So you just don't know. And then Richard Wood says trying to hide them for this year and wants to evaluate them. Well, that's not going to happen because we got rid of all the coaches. So they lost that opportunity. Now another coaching staff gets to play with the toys that they didn't want to unwrap last year. And Shane Odom says it could have been Mike Nolan being stubborn. Certain coaches don't like playing young guys. He could be one of those coaches. You just don't know. He could be the type of coach that just thinks, you know what? I'd rather roll with the veterans who've done it before, and I'll just let the young guys sit back and watch. We see it in basketball all the time. He could have been a football guy like that. I mean, we saw Neville Gallimore sit, 9 weeks before he touched the field?
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
It was.
I'm trying to think it was another example like that. What, Donovan Wilson?
Yeah, Donovan Wilson, Gallimore.
Weeks, yeah. Guys that we all thought should have been playing week 1.
Connor McGovern, I thought should have been playing sooner too. And I remember he came in, had some solid work at guard.
He did. Yeah, the only young guy who actually got to play was Terrence Steele, and that was 100% out of necessity. Heck, I thought we should have saw more Rico Dowdle.
Yeah, I did too.
On kickoff return and running back.
Yeah.
All right, Lambo, we're at an hour 30. I think that's pretty much it in terms of 53-man roster. So, guys, be sure to hit the comments. Let us know what you think. Make sure you hit our pages up. Cowboys, y'all. Bluff City Cowboys. Let us know what you think. And also start to think about next week. We're going to do top 5 position battles. So get your top 5 out there. Be ready to get into the comments. Let us know where your top 5 position battles are. Let us know where you think we are in terms of our top 5 position battles when we start to reveal them next week. And be sure to tune in every Thursday. Lambo, are we going back to 7:30 Central next week, or you think we're going to stick with 8:30 again?
Let me take a look real quick at the game schedule real fast. I'll let you know right now.
Okay. So, yeah, well, you'll definitely be joining us next Thursday, June 24th. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter for the Cowboy Zone. It'll either be 7:30 Central Standard Time or 8:30.
Yeah, 8:30 Central Time.
We're going 8:30?
Yeah, my son's game's going to be like 7 p.m. in a different city. So I'll have to rush back.
All right, so guys, make sure to join us next week, 8:30 Central Standard Time for the Cowboy Zone. We will be talking top 5 position battles. We may bring in a special guest to come join us next week to talk position battles with us. But if not, in the next couple of weeks, we're definitely going to have Charlie, Eric. If we can get Professor O, we may have a couple other guests come join us. We got 5 weeks to training camp, so we want to start to get some other guys' opinions on what we can expect. We may do another viewer show as well, where we
That'd be fun.
see if we can get Mendoza back in front of the camera. And I saw Dominique pop his head in for a few minutes. Maybe we can get him back. Jeff,
I
as
love those
well.
big shows where we got 4 or 5 people and throwing opinions out. And
Yeah, I
it's
do
fun.
too. And I actually because last season we did the kind of big name guest. Those were cool. I liked them. Kind of getting to meet people that you watch all the time. But like you said, I really enjoy guys like us when it's 4 or 5 of us just throwing out topics and kind of going back and forth on it too.
Yeah,
Those are my favorites.
crazy thing is when we started out, we was getting all the big names like crazy. Like every week we was getting a really
Yep.
big name. Like somebody with 60, 70, 80,000 followers, things like that. Players, big time reporters. And I don't know if anybody knows this, but we didn't stop doing that because we couldn't keep getting people. We just, I don't know, like I guess at first it's like I thought that's what I wanted.
Right.
And then it's just like, I don't know. It's more fun, really, most of the time, just talking to viewers and friends and making friends and just talking about the team. It don't matter who the person you're bringing on as far as their credentials and if they got a blue check next to their name and all that mess. It's just nice getting on with the viewers and just being a community and talking Cowboys.
Right. And this time last year, we really didn't know like where we would get in terms of fan support. And at that point, we were just kind of both scared. Like we don't know if we're gonna have enough content to talk about from the fans. But you guys have completely just blown that out of the water with your great questions and comments. We don't even have time to bring on a guest, honestly, because you guys are our guest.
Yeah, if we did that too often, like a lot of guests, like we started out doing, I feel like we'd be ignoring all the comments, and
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
Because you see that sometimes on a lot of shows where there'll be like comments just flooding, and they don't get addressed
Right.
at all. And the comments on this show always seem to be brilliant comments. Like
Definitely.
usually on the internet, you're like, you see somebody say stuff, you're like, you just want to face palm. You don't like see that in our comments. It's like really well thought out, awesome opinions.
Yeah.
Usually it's always great comments. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Since I've been doing this, I can't even watch shows like Undisputed or Cal and Cowherd.
Oh,
because I just feel like it's just them talking. And it's like, that's wrong. Or I feel like my opinion is just as good as that. And I can't convey it just like you guys do every week. I would just hate to watch a show where it's like I'm just listening for an hour.
Yeah.
And not getting any real interaction. And thanks, Mendoza. Appreciate that, Richard, as well. So yeah, guys, keep the great comments up. We're gonna bring the phone lines back in the next week or so. So thank you guys. Thank you, Mendoza, for that. I know you watch a ton of podcasts just like me, so hearing you say that particularly is very high praise.
I love that comment.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, and Richard, I've seen you on quite a few podcasts as well, so I definitely appreciate what you say also. And I saw Brian in here a while ago, so I want to shout him out. I don't think he could stay for long, but so definitely we may bring some guests in here or there just to kind of mix it up.
Yeah, every once in a while.
Yeah,
every once in a while, I'll bring one in.
But for the most part, it's going to be other podcasters, viewers like you guys, and us going through the comments, coming up with topics. So once again, thank you guys. We really appreciate all your support. And I guess, Lambo, you can go ahead and tell them where they can find you at.
On Facebook at Cowboys Y'all. Twitter is Cowboys Y'all. YouTube is Cowboys Y'all. YouTube, I always try to stress that. Trying to get to that 1,000. I'm around 613, I think. So it's still a good road ahead. Please subscribe. Even if you don't really do YouTube much, just get on there long enough to subscribe, and I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Patreon is Cowboys Y'all, and my Instagram is Cowboys Y'all 88. So stay tuned. Also, I kind of take a break and don't do it much during the off-season stuff. But once the season gets back in, I'll be doing like Cowboy Dale videos and stuff like that more often. So you'll find a lot of those on the YouTube and stuff too. So check it out.
Yeah, and I was gonna bring that point up. If anybody thought we couldn't get special guests, I mean, George Teague just came in just to talk completely unscripted, unsolicited. Well, we just threw him a link. We didn't ask him to come on and talk.
Yeah, we're tight with Teague. Like I could pick up my phone right now and get a response from Teague. Like we're pretty tight with George.
Yeah, thank you for that, Mendoza. We appreciate that.
Y'all will see him again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Especially
Actually,
after training camp, when he's not a coach anymore,
yeah,
you're definitely gonna see him, and we're gonna get him to spill all the beans.
For those that might be watching and not be extremely familiar, definitely keep sticking around, because when we have the fantasy football episode where we do a live draft with the entire Cowboy Zone Fantasy Football League, George Teague will be on that as well, and he's fun to interact with and to smack talk with, especially when it comes to fantasy football. So that'll be a fun show. You also get to see a Cowboys flag runner, one of the Cowboys flag runners, some of the biggest super fans in the Cowboy Nation, a couple podcasters
from the UK.
Yeah, UK guys, J-Tuck, all kinds of people. It's real fun.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys. You can find me Facebook, Bluff City Cowboys, Instagram, Bluff City Cowboys. On Twitter is Bluff Cowboys, and YouTube is Bluff City Cowboys. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Share a link. Let people know about what we're doing so that they can subscribe as well. Your interaction and engagement helps us to keep things going. And Richard Woodard, yes, we do have a fantasy league. We started it last year. We just brought in all of our guests from the first season. We all kind of connected with. And we're going to do it again this year. But this year, we're going to add a few more viewers to the league. I think we may be full right now. But if we have a spot available, we'll definitely open it back up. We don't want to go any more than 12. And if the fans seem like they want to get involved, we will do a viewers only fantasy league as well. So you guys who come on every week can trash talk in the comments about how your teams are doing. Lambo and I take on all comers.
Oh yeah, I'm fantasy football obsessed. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I normally do about 8 leagues myself, so I can add one more. So Lambo, we may want to look into it if we can get 10 viewers who want to join a fantasy league, or 8 because we're going to be in it. So we may do a second league with just the viewers.
Yeah, we could do that.
That shouldn't be that hard to do either. So once again, guys, YouTube, make sure you share it. Share those links. I'm Bluff City Cowboy. Lambo's Cowboys, y'all. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Keep us going. And be sure to join us next week, 8:30 Central Standard Time, as we talk about the top 5 position battles going into training camp. I'm Marcus, and this is Lambo. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good night.
See y'all later.